Hey guys, welcome back to Tarot Tuesday. Today is July 23rd, 2019, and it is finally Leo season. Leo began as of yesterday, so the sun is in its ruling sign for the next month or so. So, bright, glowing. This is probably one of my favorite seasons of the year, at least as far as the energy is concerned. Although I could certainly do without the heat. It's been very, very hot here the last few days. But that is not the astrological aspect we're going to talk about this time. The one we're going to talk about this time actually occurs on Wednesday, and it's not the first time in recent weeks that this aspect is formed, but it is made a little different by the fact that one of those planets, Mercury, is retrograde. So you have Mercury retrograde, you're represented by the Magician reversed, conjunct Venus, which is the Empress, in Cancer, represented by the Chariot. And with these three cards together, at least as far as the draw is concerned, what you're dealing with here, what we're all going to be dealing with here for about a week, is sort of feeling like our creative energy is at cross purposes to the things we want to create. There are things moving, the creative energy is flowing, but not necessarily the creative energy we would like to have flowing, if that makes sense. The projects we want to work on do not come easily, and the projects that do come the easiest maybe manifest unexpectedly or in unexpected ways. But this is definitely going to be sort of a week where you kind of want to go with the flow. Living with Mercury retrograde is one thing, actively trying to work against it is another. And where Venus is involved here, at least as far as the cards are concerned, you might do better to just pump the brakes a little, kind of take it easy, allow your creative energy to go the way that it wants to. I'm going to quote Stephen King here a little bit in one of the his book on writing that I love, which is just that if you want your muse, as far as writing is concerned, although any creative process needs this, if you want your muse to help you, what you need to do is just start punching the clock 9 to 5. Sooner or later, your muse will show up and get to work. This is one of those times. Except your muse has showed up to work and has decided what the project is, and you need to go along with that, because once the sort of being led along runs its course, you'll be able to direct this wellspring of creative energy where you'd like it to. So, as far as everybody's individual draw is concerned, Leo, you're up first. The Nine of Swords. Not the most auspicious beginning to your season, Leo. Especially not for someone out from whom energy radiates so easily. You are, after all, ruled by the sun. If anyone can be said to be radiant, Leos, it'll be you. But what I'm picking up from this, I'm picking up from the Nine of Wands here. This is out of the shot. Let me move it over. What I'm picking up from the Nine of Wands here for you, Leo, is that the particular way that Mercury retrograde and Venus are at cross purposes to each other, it could not be more bothersome for you. That isn't to say that things will go terribly, but like, just that out of all the ways that you could have envisioned, it's weird to talk about nightmares in the context of, being able to make things happen, because you are. It's just it's so not the ones that you wanted it to be. And again, I think the advice that I started out by giving holds is just that you need to let things be what they are. You need to allow the energy to go where it's going. If you're going to divert the course of a river, you have to do it at the source, not in the middle of the rapids, and that's where you are. I especially see this card's energy, Leo, playing out for you stronger the more that you try to resist the flow. Do not resist the flow. I'm going to cheat and use my shirt to tell me who's next. Virgo. I don't know what's happening to me today. Mercury retrograde, I guess, right? For Virgo, we have strength. The lion. This is going to be a rather revelatory aspect of Mercury and Venus for you, Virgo, in that it is going to show you the strength of your ability to create things. It is going to I really need to get a new chair. It is going to show you just how powerful a creative force you can be. But in order to do that, you have to allow, again, it's all about allowance, all about letting the energy flow out of you. You have to allow that energy to go where it's going. Now, you also have the power to direct it a little bit better than, say, Leo, poor unfortunate Leo with the Nine of Swords. But, again, I still would advise you to go with the flow here and to take it easy, just because your strength wants to manifest itself in a way that makes it apparent how strong you are. If you use up any of your energy trying to redirect it, you will not get the lesson that you're meant to get from it. And this is one of those things where an investment of a little time now pays off in a lot of dividends later. So that as much as this card for you is about knowing your strength, it's also a little bit about saving it too. For Libra, we have the Father or King of Swords. An air card for an air sign. I like it. Because if you want to treat the court cards as a microcosm of the major arcana, then the page, or in this case, in this deck it's the daughter, but the page gradually learns to become each of the following suits of swords. And especially in this deck where the sun is the knight and the father is the king, the sun has, as the sun becomes the father, he learns to stop making the mistakes of the sun. What this means for you is that this is going to be a week that demonstrates to you, as I've been saying, what it's like not to charge in headlong since you have the power of rational thought at your disposal, you should use it. This is a week that will show you either the ways that you have learned to control the impulse to take the first course of action that you can think all the way through and actually sit down and pick things apart, because the creative energy is there for you. It's there for everybody in its own weird, chaotic way this week. What you need to do, Libra, is just sit with it. Sit with the opportunities to create. Sit with the thoughts that you have about it. And really, really rationalize your way through it. I wanted to advise you not to overthink it, but I rather get the feeling that that's not something you can do, at least in this instance. Overthinking it is not a possibility for you at this time, Libra. But underthinking it is a very real risk. For Scorpio, we have the Son of Wands. Now, this differs quite nicely from Libra in that Libra is being shown that what they've learned about the lesson to not charge in. You know, the whole thing about fools rushing in where angels fear to tread. Don't. I could not advise you enough to not do, Scorpio, what I've just advised Libra to do. you should boldly go. You should charge in. I'm picking up from this that you need to. Yours is a need to strike while the iron is hot. Yours is a need to get in there, to let it flow. As a water sign, you're already going to be more readily intuitive. Maybe not necessarily more intuitive, but it's certainly more natural to you. More readily intuitive to feel what the right way is to allow the energies to manifest themselves and allow creation to happen in the way that it's going to. So do it. Do what feels right and leap in wholeheartedly. This will give the energy all the openings it needs to flow in the ways that it's going to flow for you, Scorpio. Do not hold back. Do not. Yours is the challenge of not overthinking, or Libra's is the challenge of not, of underthinking. For Sagittarius, we have the Four of Swords. And this card is going to be the probably the archetypal study in taking it easy and going with the flow, because what you need to do, Sagittarius, is just stop. Do not force things. Do not. You can't. Don't. It's kind of funny, really. The energy I get from this card is to, in certain relevant ways, not in all of them, but to be not you. Sit with your arrow on the string for a while. Don't. You have done enough, Sagittarius. You have put all the work in that needs to be put in. Allow the energies that are flowing around and through you to do the rest of the work so that you can reap the rewards. You've already done all that needs doing. There is no more for you to do. So try not to do more things. Try not to force things to happen. They already are. They're coming at the pace they're going to come. Prudence and patience at this point are what is called for. For Capricorn, we have the High Priestess. If you know it, Capricorn Suns, I would look to your moon sign for inspiration in this time. The High Priestess is a very lunar card. If you've been following me through this for a while, you know that the moon is the High Priestess in this astrology deck that I like to use for the aspect draw. Look to your moon sign for guidance, Capricorn, but just the image of the tiger in this card is one that is regal, is serene, is composed. Opportunity, yeah, no, that's the feeling. Opportunity is flowing to you. Again, like I say, look to your moon sign and look to your moon's house for just how and where you'll experience that. But the creative energy and the opportunity are flowing to you through that. So just be ready to accept them. Be discerning, too, lest I forget that part. A lot of things are going to present themselves to you. Not all of them are the ones that you need. For Aquarius, we have the Mother of Pentacles. It's a very sweet looking card with the mom and the baby deer. There's a very steadfast and grounding energy to this card for you, Aquarius. something in the nature of building a bulwark, building a wall about this. Maybe not literally, and certainly not in the political sense. That's a video for another time. But building something that will shelter you later. For you, Aquarius, this aspect of Mercury to Venus is the beginning of a longer game and is the preparation of a fallow time. Sort of the analogy that I want to make here for you, Aquarius, is to cash in your chips while you're ahead and get out of the casino. Um, not, but it's also not to quit while you're ahead. It's rather to take advantage of, again, this particular kind of prosperity to steel yourself against the lean time that may or may not be coming. I guess future Tarot Tuesdays will have to tell me what's going on for you, but this definitely feels like a something about this energy is a long game for you, Aquarius, and it's going to be interesting to see how all this plays out, but definitely allow this energy to make the best use of itself that it can. Be open to where it wants you to shore up your defenses, so to speak. Another card that matches its sign's element for Pisces, we have the Mother of Cups. For perhaps the wateriest watery sign, we have the wateriest watery card. Suits. It really does. Something that this aspect brings to you, something that the Venus-Mercury connection brings to you, Pisces, is something to which you have a very strong emotional attachment. And I feel this is going one of two ways, really. Either this is from the Venusian side of this aspect, in which case it's something that's coming to be without needing your influence, and this is a good thing. If it's coming from the mercurial side, from the side where you're the actor agent, that may be a little bit more difficult. Either way, control over your emotions is, I won't say paramount because you don't need to have it. You do have it. It's just a question of reacting appropriately to what is happening around you, which may mean temporarily leaving aside the approaches that you have to engage in, that you're emotionally attached to, because that will set you up for disappointment, at least for the next few days, if not the next week. If, however, it is something something the universe is bringing to you with all this creative energy, it will have been the final harvest of a long planted seed, and you have absolutely earned the right to have pride and emotional attachment to whatever it is that grows out of this aspect for you. For Aries, we have the Seven of Swords. Sneaky little fox, that last one down there at the bottom. It's funny, man. I don't think I've ever been so puzzled by a card that I drew for my own sun sign, but You'll notice if you look very closely that that fox is sleeping with one eye open. Do not be your own enemy this week, Aries. Do not put yourself in a position to be stolen from. Do not put yourself in a position where the things you've worked so hard for can be taken from you. Now, that's not to say be suspicious of everybody and paranoid and, looking over your shoulder. And I'm definitely not advising you to go invest in like 7 locks for your front door. But as impatient as we can be, this may be an aspect that's particularly difficult for us to deal with, as it feels like it's been for most of the fire signs this week. We're really not used to not being in the driver's seat. It doesn't come naturally to us to just let things be. But specifically for you, compared to the other fire signs, all Leo's really going to create for itself are headaches. And all Sagittarius is really going to do is wear itself out. You're working against the grain, Aries, and failing to go with the flow when you should, is actively setting up losing something that you have worked very hard to attain. Let things be. Go with the flow. Take what is given to you, and at least for a little while, try not to ask for or force more. All you will get is less. Taurus. The Three of Wands. A portal is opening. This is one of my favorite cards in that because it says so much and so little at the same time. This creative energy for you, Taurus, is the gateway to something greater. The gateway to something, something greater. You are if you're familiar with the concept of a perpetual motion machine, the thing that once you get it started, it never stops moving, that's a rough analog of what the energy is that I'm feeling for you, Taurus. Something that gets set in motion during this time when Mercury retrograde and Venus are doing their little dance together in Cancer is a catalyst. It's the ignition. It's going to. You're not opening the door to go from one room to the next with this, but it's more like having a door opened for you and walking into a huge house. There is a very real feeling of being led on to and led on to and led on to from what happens to you this week. Again, receptivity is the key and going with the flow is the key, but whatever you're given will continue to give if you let it. And there's a lot for it to give. I dropped Gemini's card. Give me a second. Another air card for an air sign. The Ace of Swords. For Gemini 2, this week is the beginning of something new. This is not, however, the long game of Aquarius or even the first link in a chain that stretches into the distance like Taurus. This is quick. This is, if you look at the card, this is lightning fast. Whatever this aspect is bringing you, Gemini, which fitting given that you're ruled by Mercury, will arrive quickly. It may be before the week is out, but I'm not. I wouldn't pin all my hopes to that, and neither should you. But it will be fast. It will come to you very quickly. Whatever this creative energy is bringing to you is coming. Damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead to you. So be ready when it does. As with any other weapon, a sword is going to cut you more often than anybody else if you don't do it correctly. There is a lot of speed in whatever is headed your way. And last but most certainly not least, Cancer, in whose sign all of this is going on. The Nine of Pentacles. This is not, the Nine of Pentacles is not the enduring prosperity and abundance of the Ten of Pentacles, but it is prosperity and abundance. And that's probably as it should be, given that this is going on in your sign, Cancer. Where Gemini's being brought when it's getting with a lot of speed, yours might not be so hasty, but it is bigger. I'm trying to think of an analogy that works here. If what's coming for Gemini with the Ace of Swords is like a sports car, what's coming for you, Cancer, is more like a semi-truck. It's not coming as fast, but oh boy, is it bigger. Although you can't really do comparative anything with energy, but this thing's coming for you is it is coming slower, but it's coming in a more enduring fashion. It's something that you can build off of and build from. But again, as I've advised you all throughout this video, allowing it to come to you is the key this week. You cannot make it happen, not with Mercury retrograde. But that is Tarot Tuesday for this week. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, I will see you next time.